Good evening. Thank you for joining me as we discuss Thomas Jefferson's legacy. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. These words, more than anything else Thomas Jefferson said or did, are his true legacy. They are, as Harry Truman declared, the expression of our profound belief. They have been quoted in modern protests as far away as Tiananmen Square, Beijing, China, and Prague. The principles penned in the Declaration form the basis of our Constitution. Had not Jefferson written these words, he probably would not have become the icon of liberty that he is today. However, he is an important historical figure for other reasons besides being the main author of the Declaration of Independence. In 1774, he authored the important A Summary View of the Rights of British America, a set of resolutions the Virginia House of Burgesses rejected as too radical, but which nevertheless was printed as a pamphlet in Philadelphia, New York, and London. This pamphlet established Jefferson as an important writer of the Revolution. In 1775, he was one of the principal authors of the Continental Congress's Declaration of the Causes and Necessities of Taking Up Arms. This led 1 year later to his appointment to a committee in 1776 to write the Declaration, of which he became the primary composer. This document is one of the achievements listed on Jefferson's gravestone. Jefferson, while believing in the sovereignty of the people, also believed in the importance of an educated public, both men and women. Dr. Rist, a Jefferson scholar, discussed Jefferson's importance in the founding of the University of Virginia. Jefferson had proposed the university in 1778 to the Virginia Assembly. The proposal included free elementary education for all, a tuition-based secondary education, and the university. However, the proposal, considered too radical, was rejected until 1816. Jefferson, in his plan of education for the university, included 1 hour daily of religious instruction to be taught by leaders from the various religions. The university is another of the 3 achievements that Jefferson posted on his tombstone. Another legacy of Jefferson's is that concerning his fight for religious liberty. There are 2 sides to this legacy, one beneficial, the other deleterious. Historian Daniel Driesbach calls Jefferson's bill for establishing religious freedom one of the most venerated documents in American political history. Although Jefferson believed religion inculcated the virtue necessary for a republic to survive, he also believed that the state had no business taxing citizens to support churches. The act, passed in 1786, disestablished the Anglican Church in Virginia, prevented people being taxed to support any church, and prevented anyone from being persecuted or kept from public office because of his religious beliefs or lack thereof. The act had nothing to do with preventing civil government from engaging in religious expression, for example, calling for fast days or having prayer at civil functions. Notice that it starts by saying, "Whereas Almighty God has created the mind free." The act also refers to the holy author of our religion. Strict separation of church and state, as defined by our 20th century jurists, would not permit this. Jefferson's legacy of religious freedom was important. This act became another achievement on Jefferson's tombstone. However, his legacy of religious liberty has been turned on its head by 20th century Supreme Court rulings. The 1947 Jefferson versus the Board of Education is the seminal case that started the move toward complete elimination of religious expression in civil government. The wall of separation metaphor from Jefferson's letter to the Danbury Baptist Church was used in this case and again in the 1948 McCollum versus the Board of Education case that eliminated non-compulsory religion classes in the public schools. The 1962 Engel versus Vitale case removed prayer from public schools. Dissenting Justice Potter Stewart said, "The court's tack is not responsibly aided by the uncritical invocation of metaphors like the wall of separation, a phrase nowhere to be found in the Constitution." In the March versus Chambers 1983 case banning moments of silence in public schools, Justice Rehnquist had this to say: "There is simply no historical foundation for the proposition that the framers intended to build a wall of separation that was constitutional in Jefferson. In the 38 years since Jefferson, our Establishment Clause cases have been neither principled nor unified. Our recent opinions have, with embarrassing candor, conceded that the wall of separation is merely a blurred, indistinct, and variable barrier. The Jefferson Wall has proved all but useless as a guide to sound constitutional adjudication. But the greatest injury of the wall notion is its mischievous diversion of judges from the actual intentions of the drafters of the Bill of Rights. The wall of separation between church and state is a metaphor based on bad history. It should be frankly and explicitly abandoned." In Jefferson, the Supreme Court justices never mentioned Jefferson's other religious bills. Justice Rutledge appended Madison's Memorial and Remonstrance, but never refers to Madison being the prime author of the First Amendment, an amendment passed by the same Congress that instituted chaplains for both houses of Congress and chaplains for every military branch. The justices never mentioned that church was held for many years in the House of Representatives, Jefferson attending regularly when president. Furthermore, the justices never look at any of the other founders and their views, only referencing Jefferson's Danbury Baptist letter, his Religious Freedom Bill, and Madison's Memorial and Remonstrance. I think Jefferson would be appalled by the misapplication of his Religious Liberty Bill were he alive today, a legacy he would never have wanted on his tombstone. Thank you for joining me.